What's up guys, Spin Firearms here, and today we are going to be finally doing a full review on the Mossberg MC2SC. It's been 100% reliable through about 750 rounds, 3 different kinds of hollow points. Let's get into it. But before we get started, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, subscribe, tell me your thoughts on Mossberg pistols, tell me your thoughts on the MC2SC. I've seen a lot of reviews where it's hit or miss, and I've also seen a lot of people that just absolutely rave about this firearm. They absolutely love it. It's their go-to carry. I also see that it's made the list for a couple of publications as far as Firearm of the Week or Firearm of the Year, so I think that says a little bit. Now, this firearm comes with a flush 11-round mag, and of course, this firearm has been safety checked prior to the video. Always safety checked and cleared, but it comes with a flush 11-round mag. When it is in this setup right here, the footprint is dang near identical to the Glock 43. It is just a little bit thicker, but if you've ever carried a Glock 43, you know how easy that firearm is to carry. You realize how easily it disappears in your waistband. But what's great about this is you're not getting the 6+1 of a Glock 43. You're getting 11+1 and 9mm. Now, it also comes with, if you don't live in a mag-restricted state, a 14-round mag. And what I like about this is, in this setup, it's basically the exact same size as a Glock 43X. Now, as we all know, the 43X comes with 10+1 from the factory. This is 14+1 from the factory. And they used Metgar mags. Now, I had the original MC2SC. And what's interesting about that is, 1, it took Glock mags. But 2, I don't think I've ever seen a pistol that has been sold, and right out of the box, it came with ETS mags. And that was the MC2SC. Now, it was only like 7+1 at the time, I believe, or 6+1. And it was running ETS mags, and then you wonder why the MC2SC has, 3 to 5 malfunctions for every 1,000 rounds. So they were genius. They went to Metgar for the later models, and that was probably one of the best decisions they've ever made, just like Taurus. Taurus had a very, very spotty reputation. A lot of issues, a lot of weird malfunctions, a lot of firearms that simply blew up on people. But Taurus made the decision to go to Metgar mags. That fixes your reliability big time. Metgar is the best at what they do. It's that simple. But anyways, in this setup right here, it's a very slim Glock 43X. Now, I like that better than the Glock, because we always got to mention Glocks over here. They give you great texturing. Awesome texturing. Exactly where you need it, right? You have it on this front part. This is where all the main parts that your hands need traction in is the rear and the front. So when you grip it, you feel that and that. Now you also have these pads going along the side for the flat part of your palm, and that feels really, really good. It has a really, really natural feel to it. Like I said, 14+1 in this setup, that is more than good. Now obviously, forward serrations, rear serrations, they work. A little bit less slippery than a Glock, I would say. I do like the Glock finish better. I would say the finish on the Mossberg MC2SC is good. I just don't know how good it is. I feel like it's much better than SIGs and stuff like that, but at the same time, there's a little bit left to be wondered, to be honest. So we'll see with more holster time and stuff like that. It also comes with a rail. The original Glock 43X and 48 did not, but now they released the MOS version, so it is optics ready and you get a rail on the new one. Has a solid guide rod, has a solid system. One of the complaints I do have is the takedown. Now how the takedown works is, you lock the slide back, so obviously locking the slide back, that action is going to remove the round from the chamber, right? But obviously double check, triple check, whatever you got to do. So you lock that slide back. Then you're going to press on your back plate right here, slide that down, and then you're going to take out the striker. And then that allows the slide to go forward. If you've ever made the mistake, which Lord knows I have, putting a Glock back together, and you forget the barrel and the guide rod, which I've done many times, you realize, now I can't get my slide off, right? So the only way to get your Glock slide off at that point is to remove your back plate and take out the striker. So it's very similar to that, but obviously Glock takedown is much more easy and simple, especially for the new gun user. Now they have awesome memory pads right here, and they are deep. I absolutely love that, just like the Taurus GX4. I love the memory pads. You'd be surprised, even the little amount of recoil they help with, it all helps, especially on these micro pistols. And then right here, that's just going to associate your finger, this memory pad, and your brain. They're all going to work together to always remember to keep that finger off the trigger. Now it comes with 3 white sights and they're just good regular sights. I wish the dots were a little smaller, but it is what it is. They're actually pretty decent. As you can see, it is a U-notch rear. Now, it also comes with this weird safety, right? It's a crossbolt safety. You see this more on rifles and stuff like that, but they decided to put it on the pistol. Now, obviously, if you're used to a flip-off manual safety, you're going to have to train and get used to it. For me, what I like about the safety is it does not get in the way of anything. Now, let's get into that trigger, because that is one of my favorite parts of the firearm. It is this awesome flat face trigger, and it also provides you a little bit more room than your average firearm for a gloved finger. And if you live in a place that gets cold like I do, that is huge, because I wear my Millspin gloves, Magpul gloves everywhere I go in the winter. This is huge to me, because if I'm going to be drawing, I need to be able to get my finger in there and on the trigger without that trigger going off. Now, here's that trigger pull. Ready? Now, it feels similar to a Glock trigger when it breaks, but as far as reset and pulling the trigger, it's going to be shorter, maybe a little bit lighter than a Glock, but not by much. But I like the shape of the trigger. It makes it much easier to pull, and it's actually a pretty good defensive trigger. Now, I mostly run it in this setup right here. I feel like 12 rounds is good enough for almost anything. And I did add the Sealy Cap Pro. Now, the Cap Pro I've ran on my Hellcats. I'm trying to think what else, on my SIGs, stuff like that. I like them because it's a very low sitting optic, and you can co-witness using your standard sights. And why you want to co-witness using standard height sights is because once you have those XL sights and suppressor height sights, you are now blocking and taking up a third of your window. Whereas if you can just co-witness using your 3-dot sights, that is so much easier. You have so much more view through your window, and that's going to make easier shots on your targets and so on, and also seeing the surroundings around your targets through that window. So I absolutely love the Cap Pro. It's shake awake. It does run off batteries, but it holds 0. And what I like about it is all you got to do is remove the battery right there. Take it right out the side, put it back in, and you're good to go. So I love the Sealy Cat Pro. Now, as far as reliability, I have about 750 rounds through it. About 100 rounds of the 750 were between 3 different hollow points. We've ran gold dots, which are some of my favorite defensive ammo, Civil Liberty defense rounds, which is actually what I carry in my Mossberg, and then last but not least, Sig Sauer M17 plus P, and it all ran flawlessly, not a single issue. Now, I did notice with the SIG ammunition, the recoil was the greatest out of all of them, but it was still very, very manageable out of this very small, easy to conceal setup right here. So when it really comes down to it, how would I rate the Mossberg MC2SC? Well, I don't like it as much as the Hellcat or the Shield Plus, but I do like it better than the GX4, and I do like it better than some other Micro 9s. But I would say it is probably in the middle of the pack. I like it better than my P365. I would say it's about middle of the pack, and that's exactly where it falls in price. Price is about $375 to $450. You can normally find these. And so for that price, it is a great carry option. I've also seen some awesome torture testing videos or burnouts of this firearm, and it's performed exceptionally. Because as long as you're not torture testing your pistol and leaving it dirty like that, you're going to be fine. You're just going to have the regular gunk, lint buildup, powder buildup, residue buildup on your firearm. You're not going to be shoving mud and dirt and rocks and all that into your firearm. So this thing will perform when you need it to. As far as accuracy, I would say it's a pretty accurate firearm. I feel like a lot of it falls on the user, even though I have seen a lot of videos where people are saying they swear it's not them, it's not. And I understand that. That happens sometimes with firearms, or the sights are off, or whatever the case may be. But with this pistol, what I have sitting in front of me, it performs just like anything else. Performs like my Masada, the way I'm aiming it, my Masada Slim, my Shield Plus, my Hellcat. So, I mean, recoil impulse is no different than like the 43X. It's very similar. It's just a great overall shooter. It's definitely not too snappy to carry. I feel like this is a great size firearm for almost anybody. And like I said, if you really want that 3-finger purchase, you can throw in that 14+1 setup. You have Glock 19 capacity basically in this very slim, light firearm with a nice flat face trigger. And all these features they threw on it. Everything works. Every control functions. Everything does its job. It is a good overall firearm. People always ask me if you could only have one firearm, I definitely wouldn't choose the Mossberg MC2SC, but if this is what I was left with for one firearm for the rest of my life, this would perform just fine. It would handle everything I throw in it. It would eat everything up and spit it out as far as ammunition goes. I trust this thing. So, Mossberg MC2SC I think is a great concealed carry option. I'd say the top three things I like about it is, one, the ergonomics. It feels really natural in the hand, really good texturing. Two, I love the trigger. The trigger is absolutely amazing. And then three, I just like the overall shootability of it for its size. It's definitely less snappy than the Hellcat. It's probably a little bit less snappy than the Shield Plus, less snappy than the SIG P365. So they did a really good job making a good quality pistol. So with that being said, this is something that I carry every now and then. It's a good firearm. Mossberg MC2SC.